was JuJu Smith-Schuster. That is a guy that we have a difference of opinion on, so we're just going to start there real quick. Kev has him at 10. I have him at 17. I'll just start this off by saying that I still have questions on whether or not he can be the unquestioned number one in the Steelers passing offense. There's no doubt that he's going to see the majority of the targets. It wouldn't surprise me if he has upwards of 30% target share in this offense, because I have a lot of questions outside of him as well. The thing that I did like seeing is that they are planning on moving him into the slot, and I think that's where he's obviously going to be able to function best. But there's no AB on the outside to take that heat off of him. So, like I said, for me having him here at 17, that all just comes down to I still have questions on whether or not he can function as the unquestioned alpha without somebody like Antonio Brown on the outside, eating up all those double teams all the time. And then if Big Ben goes down, we saw what happened last year to that offense. So to me, there's just too many questions to lock him in as a number one wide receiver. Kev, you have him at 10. Why don't you go ahead and spit your little spiel here for the people?
Yeah, well, hey, it's good to be here, right? So I finally get to talk. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, JuJu from last year around this time, he was going pretty much similar in terms of ADP, but I think there was much more enthusiasm surrounding him coming off that monster season, especially once AB left. Everyone thought that he was really going to soak up, get somewhere close to that 160 to 170 targets. That's not what happened. Obviously, we know the biggest reason was Big Ben. When you have Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges as your quarterback, things are going to go awry really, really quickly. And that's pretty much what happened with him last year, but he only played in 12 games. He averaged about 6 targets per game, 18% target share. He accounted for 22% of the air yards, finished with 42 receptions, 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, only averaged 9.4 fantasy points per game. So he was a massive bust for most everybody that drafted him, right? But like I mentioned with that, but there's some really things to really like about his upside as well. If you look at him, the only wide receivers that have recorded more receiving yards before the age of 23 are Randy Moss and Josh Gordon, with JuJu Smith-Schuster being number 3. In 2018, I think that's where he gets much more closer to. I mean, he averaged 10.4 targets per game, 23% target share, and 26% of the team air yards. He also ran 61% of his snaps from the slot in 2018, which was 4th most and had the 2nd most targets. And he also averaged 1.93 yard per route run, which was 5th best. There wasn't a big difference in how he was utilized last year, because last year he still averaged 66% of his routes from the slot. So, I mean, that is his role. He is going to be the slot guy. I think now with Chase Claypool coming in, I think Chase Claypool goes to the outside. I think it's going to be him and a mixture of either James Washington or Deontay Johnson. I really like JuJu Smith-Schuster for this upcoming season. I think he's being a bit undervalued. I think people forget he's still only 23 years old and he hasn't even hit his prime yet. So I think there's a lot to like with JuJu. I think his upside is certainly there and around where it's at now, because I think that his ceiling is much higher than that. And the biggest question, though, is going to be, can Big Ben actually stay healthy? Because if he doesn't, that is where we have issues. I don't know why they didn't go out this offseason really trying to find a backup with guys like Andy Dalton that was available, Jameis Winston. I know I think they tried to make offers to them, and those guys decided to go somewhere else. But I don't know. Like, I felt like that was a spot they really should have tried to upgrade, because Big Ben is being held together, with tinfoil at this point. So that's my only concern with JuJu this year. But other than that, I really like him, and I think he's somebody that has definite wide receiver 1 upside.
Yeah, he does. And with his ADP in best ball 10s over the past couple of days, he's going at 34.67. So right at the end of the 3rd. So I don't have a problem with that ADP. There's so many guys that I like this year, and kind of like the Kenny Golladay talk we had. JuJu is just the sacrificial lamb for me that had him slide down my ranks. So